everybody. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast, where we give you our point of view. We are proud members of the Trek Geeks Podcast Network, and we've got a great show for you today. I'm Tamia Harper, and I'm joined by my sisters, Yvette Blackman-Tom.
Hello.
Sabrina Wood.
Whoop, whoop.
And Fran T.
What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening, sis? We got a great show. We always say that. I say that every time, but it's true.
Because we always have a great show.
We always have a great show.
Yeah.
No false modesty here. And this one's good because we're all back together again, which is nice. Hey, sisters.
Hey.
And we're going to be talking about a really cool new show that we are all digging. And if you haven't watched it yet, it is Supacell, brought to you by Rapman on Netflix. And there's a lot to talk about with this show. If y'all have not seen Supacell yet, and yes, I'm saying Supacell, not Supercell, just like we are sci-fi sisters, not sci-fi sisters. It's Supacell. And the show is dope.
So dope.
I mean, it is so dope. I mean, first of all, Netflix, thank you very much for
not messing it up.
Yep.
Yes.
Batman wasn't going to let that happen.
And let them do what they wanted to do.
And Rapman, thank you very much for bringing this show to us. I mean,
so proud of him.
Right?
Brother.
Yeah,
Right?
very proud of him.
Talk about some really amazing, heartfelt, real truth storytelling, right?
Some real good sci-fi. I mean, I think this is what we love about sci-fi, a good damn story.
So if you guys, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Well, if you guys aren't familiar with Supacell, it is a show about, was it 5 of them altogether, right?
Yep.
5 Black folks from South London who all end up with superpowers.
Yep.
And it's dope. And think like Heroes, but Black and South London and much more real. You know?
That sums it up. That's about right.
It's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of superhero shows out and about and have come out, and people pander to this. But I think what I love about this show is that it's the characters are so real. They're just like us. They're just like the dude that you know down the block. They're like the sister that you know who works over at the store. Like, they're just everybody. And what's refreshing to me as an American watching it is to see my brothers and sisters across the pond. And I knew every single one of them. I'm like, damn, we are just alike. Oh my God, it's the same shit.
Yep.
That's conspiracy brother right there. And that's that chick that's always getting into some shit right there. You know?
Yeah. I told Sabrina, I said, I love this because I know all those people.
Yeah.
I know every single one of those people, so I love that.
Yeah. So
Some of them I don't want to know too close.
Right.
that's right.
Tase, you just.
But it is what it is.
On the other side of the room, that brother. Oh my God.
Let's start with our sort of general thoughts about your feelings on this show. Just real general. Who wants to start us off?
I'll start.
All right, good.
I want to start because how I feel. I love it. It got me when I knew there were superpowers involved and Black people. So there's nothing I love more than Black people and superheroes. I love, and to put that together, I knew I was going to watch it. I didn't know a lot about it, but that right there, all Black cast, superheroes, and it was not the typical backdrop. It was a South London, which I know nothing about. So I wanted to know more. So that's generally why I wanted to watch it. I didn't know anything about Rapman. I didn't know anything about any of these actors. I just knew that they looked like me and there were going to be some kind of superpowers. I was like, I'm in, so, and it turned out to be one of the best things I've watched in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Agreed.
What I noticed was the dialogue. I mean, I know about this, the sci-fi part of it and everything, but because I always have my closed captioning on, right? And they're talking in their regular slang,
Mm-hmm.
and it's different from American Black slang.
Right.
And you're like, okay. Because I was trying to figure out what does "in it" mean. What is that? What is that word, y'all?
Ain't it?
Is that what it is? Ain't it?
Yeah. That's crazy, ain't it? That's crazy, ain't it?
Oh, okay. Okay, well, what's name was showing it in it.
That's what they're saying.
They're writing the subtitles
That's
just
exactly
like
what
they're
they're saying.
saying. And you don't know what that means.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't know
But
what
that's
it meant. I'm like,
that's the slang.
and the way that they related to each other, and this estate, what's the estate? The estate, come to find out, is subsidized housing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Projects.
Yep.
yeah. I'm like, I love this. And they seem, like you say, so regular. Just so regular,
And different.
Yeah.
And so I love that part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I don't know who did this, but he is genius.
He is. I agree with you there, friend. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. And he, like you say, Netflix didn't. It looked like they didn't get too many notes. I don't think they got any, to tell you the truth.
They didn't get too many notes.
I love that.
They didn't. I think they did exactly what they wanted to do.
They were
so
coming up with nothing.
That's right. No, the beginning of it kind of shocked me. When y'all know what happened. Are we giving away spoilers or not?
Yeah, I
mean,
can
by this time, yeah.
Yes.
By the time
Spoil
this
away.
comes out, by the time this comes out, I think.
And also, y'all know us, right? You know,
Can't keep it
You
going.
can see Tamia's face. She's like, really?
like y'all know us. If you're listening to us and you haven't watched the show we're talking about,
That's
shame on you.
Right?
Okay.
Hit pause and come back because you can
Right,
do it. It's
come
6
back.
episodes. You can come back tomorrow and see it.
That's what I did.
But I know I'm going to have to look at this again because
Yes.
Definitely.
it takes more than one viewing.
You
Yes.
are so right about
You
that.
are right about that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
started
have to look at this again.
Yeah. I had to.
started again.
I actually wanted to watch those last 2 episodes again.
Mhm.
Because I was so into it by that time that I knew I just was like into it to get to the end. And I'm like, I know I missed stuff.
Yeah.
Because you know how you're in it and you're like, you're just watching. I'm like, all right, I need to find out exactly what I watched.
What just happened?
Just
So Sabrina, what about your thoughts, your intro thoughts?
Well, what I loved about this is that, everything you guys already said, and something that Yvette and I talked about a little earlier, the character development, the Black love going on in this.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you. Grandma to grandson, father to daughter, man to woman, brother to brother.
Yep.
It was all there. Everybody had something. And one of the things that, I was also saying is that, when you're watching something and why we're reacting to this so strongly is that the stakes are really high for each one of the characters.
Yes.
And when they come in, the thing happens, they realize they got some kind of power. They don't know what's going on, and they're like, whatever, But something happens that takes them to that level where, as we say, and I was telling Yvette in writing class, when you lock that story, and there's no going back now. The thing just went down, and we've got to see the lock for each one of the 5.
Yep. Mhm.
And once that happened, you were like, okay, some of them locked real early.
Yeah.
Michael was right in there because they took him right in the beginning, but the other ones took a little while to come along. But once they got their lock, they were all, okay, arm to arm, let's go. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I think that that what you brought up, that point about the Black love in this show, this show, Well, first of all, and Fran's point too about needing to watch it multiple times, because, and that's a testament to a really strong story, because that means you have layers, you have depth.
Yes.
And that's what this story does. So like, I really didn't know anything about Rapman before this show, and then I started learning more about him, and the brother's just skillful. I mean, he's just a brilliant storyteller of the highest order. And, and so this show, like we get the benefits, we get to reap the benefits of that. Like he's created something so interesting. And while it's familiar, it's also new.
Yes.
And it is new in its visual forms of storytelling sometimes. I think it's new in the fact that it just shows you the difference when we're telling stories about ourselves. That none of these characters are pastiche, one-dimensional sort of characters. They are fully fleshed out human beings with real problems, with real concerns, with real love, and we're seeing that like these characters that people normally will dismiss or that in here that Hollywood will treat as a stereotype.
Thank you. Preach, sister.
They treat you as a stereotype, as these real human beings with real desires and motivations and reasons for why they do what they do.
Yes.
How did somebody end up in the situation that they're in? It's empathy at the heart of it. To me, that really sealed the deal that makes this show far more special than any other superhero show I've ever seen. And that includes Black superhero shows done in this country.
Oh yes, I agree. Wholeheartedly. Agree that because
no shade on anybody. No
but
no
you're
shade
right,
on anybody. But they're subject to an ownership by a racist culture here that Rapman had a lot more freedom in the development of this project than that mainstream twaddle. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, crap. But yeah, sure. Not that you can take out that other word that I said.
Will.
Thank you, because that wasn't the word. Twaddle.
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 Okay.
That's what I was looking for.
That was not the word.
Too late.
No, that was not the word. Oh, well. Oh, well. Anyway, y'all know what I'm saying.
Yep.
I mean, it just makes it so much more special than what we've been given. I mean, endearing isn't the word. Like, I love the love. Everybody's got a love motivation.
Yes.
So let's get into who, as we talk about some of these characters, I think we'll talk about those motivations. Like, who was your favorite character of this 6-episode arc that we're getting?
Sabrina was mine. I mean, not because she has my name, but Sabrina was something. I mean, I don't have a sister, so this was really interesting to watch her with this crazy little sister that she has.
Yes.
Who just is the one that brings the trouble,
Every time. Every time.
Said, well, let's go to his house. Let's go.
Right? Like, what?
Yeah.
Come on.
That Sabrina, don't go to the man's house. He's not coming. He doesn't want. He's texting you. Why is he texting you? Why can't he call you? Well, let's go over there and find out.
Let's go.
Oh my God! And so Sabrina, I thought was really interesting because she's also giving us this look into this world of racism that she's feeling on a job. Shar is telling her she's not going to get promoted because she goes in early all the time. So she's dedicated. She's taking care of her sister, all this stuff. She's got this boyfriend. She's believing every stupid thing he's telling her.
Right.
And then she gets, the lock happens and then it's on. I mean, she goes mama bear so hard that I loved her. She was like, where is my sister? I was like, y'all, all you men better clear out the way.
Right. Right.
She's not taking any prisoners right now.
They were underestimating her like a mug. Like, never mind, blah, blah. And she's like,
who's this girl coming here with such confidence?
Right, stupid you.
Yeah,
shame on you.
Exactly.
That's my favorite. What about you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite, surprisingly, has been Taser.
What? That crazy
Yes.
dog?
Taser's, yes, I love him. I love his portrayal, and I really feel like he's one of the most fleshed out characters
Yeah, he's
of the
going through
series.
stuff.
He's got a lot of depth, and Taser again because he's the type of character that would be a stereotype,
A thug.
a thug, just another thug, right? What's going on with these boys on the corner? Like, there's more stuff to the boys on the corner.
Yeah.
You know, and
What did Sabrina say to him? Who raised you?
Right.
right,
Yeah.
you know, and like, you know, and the key to him is his grandmother, you know, that love that he has for and
His
and
man.
for his boys and for
He
his
loves all of
boys.
them,
Like,
yeah.
he loves them fiercely, you know, and he's trying his best with what he's been taught to protect them and to help them. You know, now I'm not saying I agree with his methods, and I know he's crazy as hell.
He's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
You know,
He's a killer.
you know,
He's got a reason.
but he's got a reason, and I feel like what I see in him is the seeds of hope. You know, because he's got love in his heart, like there's still hope for redemption. But, you know, that he would choose, that he can learn to channel his love and his protectiveness in a different way. You know, I think it's really beautiful that he's meeting up with these other brothers and sisters who can help show him another
Right,
way. He's
right.
like the youngest. He's almost, I think he's the
Definitely
youngest out of
the
the
youngest.
Oh, yeah.
you
he's
know,
the youngest,
and so
yeah.
he's the least developed. And what he needs is role models who are not the role models that he had.
Like
You know,
crazy.
there was only one positive role model force in his life, and that was his grandmother. And Crazy was the other one, was his real role model that he was looking up to. And that dude is just what his name sounds like. He's cray-cray. He's cray-cray. Cray-cray,
But even that
cray-cray,
brother
cray-cray.
stood up when, you know, his mother and father are gone, Taze and he said, I had to stand up and be the big brother to him. So even even Craze had some love in him. I thought he was he was
That's what every drug dealer tells
the
little kid on.
grooming him.
Right. I don't believe
that's
it's
a
love.
You don't believe it
That,
either.
that's
I-
not
Right,
love.
that's
That's not
grooming.
love.
Exactly,
The minute,
that's grooming.
Well,
the
Craze
minute
said
that
it. He said,
fool-
you've only been using me. Craze said it to, I mean, not Craze, Taze said it to Craze.
Yeah, he was. He was.
He
But,
was,
but
you know.
one thing about Taze that I really thought was really good was that he got knifed and his boys ran. They left him
they
on
did.
the ground.
Didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
Yes, they
forgave them. When they came to the hospital room, he forgave them for leaving him there. And I
Yes.
thought, wow, I thought we were going to have a scene because they walked in and I was like, oh, here we go.
Well, if he didn't forgive them, what else does he have?
Yeah, he did, though. You know, he didn't.
I said if he doesn't forgive them, he doesn't have anybody else. He has to
Right.
forgive them. He has nothing else.
Well, he's got nothing else, but also it seemed like the forgiveness was not motivated out of necessity. Like, it seemed like it was motivated out of a deep understanding of what they were facing and why they ran.
Right.
You know,
First
like
of
who
all,
they are.
who told you to
out-
go
and
out
they-
there with a bag of them out there? First
Right, and they were
place.
outmatched, and you know, like he knew that running was the best thing for them to do to keep them alive.
Oh,
They
man,
were.
that scene.
Oof. Yeah.
Well, that's the
have
first 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Just the party?
Sure. Yeah,
My
Go ahead,
favorite.
Yvette.
My favorite character is Andre.
I like
And I
him
think,
too.
and he's also the most unutilized character. I think I would love to know more about him. I think he's like the older version of Taser. You know, like he's been through that part already because he went to jail for drugs and he was stupid, like, you know, Taser. Because I see all of those little gangbangers is just real stupid. And he was one of those stupid gangbangers. That's how he got caught up. He didn't want to tell. He didn't want to snitch. So he went to jail instead. And it cost him everything. You know,
Thought it would get all sorted out.
Yeah. And it did not. You know, his son, you know, he has to come back and try to make it up to his son. And because he's an ex-con, you know, he can't get good jobs. He can't keep good jobs.
They're relentless.
But he's I don't know. I just wish we would have known more about him. But I get it because he had to buy in last because he had to be used by the villains. I'm going to call the company the villains. And that's the only way he didn't buy in yet, but I do love his story. I love the love that he has with his son. I just love that he just, this is probably my only negative for the show is that, oh man, I guess they needed more time. It just seems so rushed. The change between being this father who was always there to just totally forgetting about him, I mean, that was so quick for me. And I was like, I was wondering,
you mean like when his son was knocking on the door?
Yeah, when he was calling him, he called him back. And
Oh, yeah.
He called him back and he didn't answer. I told him, I'll call you back. He got so blinded by, this money, and he forgot about why he wanted the money. He wanted the money to take care of his kid, but it became his stupid. Why is everybody named John just a problem?
Oh my God, John. Who comes up with first of all, he says
the craziest plan, right?
But now, and the whole thing, when they were standing out in the street, Rodney came up to the two of them and said, "Hey, man, you want to buy some weed?" Mr. Recreational Weed said no.
Right. And acted like, no, I don't ever do that stuff.
Exactly.
Dude. Like,
appalled, affronted, upset with Rodney.
Yes.
Well, maybe that was Andre. But then gets a password to go to the trap house, and he goes.
Right.
To the crack house.
What are you doing?
Right. Right. Like insane.
He knows
okay,
it all.
Fran.
At least you could get anything you want in this place. Like, oh my God, John.
Like what? Is this ever again? Like, what are you doing in there? You don't want the weed, but you want what they got in the trap house. Boy,
he said, "I didn't see any guns." Like, oh,
every time
that was his.
Every time they said that, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Did you see guns? I'm like, why would you see them? Why would you see them? Who's going to show them to you?
And why wouldn't they be there?
Right. Like, what? That didn't make made no sense to me. Like, I was like, come on, you got to come stronger than that.
Yeah. And Andre's
I didn't buy that. That was the thing. I didn't buy that Andre was this gullible.
Yeah, I didn't buy that. Yeah.
I didn't buy that, he was going to fall for this dumb ass plot of his friends. I mean, like, shit was just dumb.
Dumb. Yeah. And John wasn't even driving the car. John was at home. Right. Told him to go over there.
Right. And Andre was the one who had been the most sensible, had been very sensible up until that point, you know? And so that transition, I did not buy.
There was a lot of it. I mean, that transition plus the fact that he just he stopped being the father that he originally was, that we all loved him for.
Right.
And he just, just changed. So that part, I don't know. I'm hoping for season 2. So we'll get more because
as I'm sure it's going to be fleshed out.
He did go through a lot of changes that were off screen. So, I would like to see more. But yeah, he was my favorite because, first of all, he was fine. That's always number one. And he was the strong man, like that too. But the single dad, I love ex-con single dad thing. That's kind of like, you want to know more and I always want to see that black man make it.
Right.
That's the, especially for drugs. You know what I mean? He didn't go to...
That weren't even his. He wasn't even selling them.
His,
like
so...
The dude
we know that, brother.
The dude...
We all know that,
boy.
brother.
I know
stashed them in his car.
More than one.
I know people that have gone to jail for being in that moment.
In the car.
And ended up in the car, in the wrong place. They ended up with somebody else's shit that they didn't even know was on them.
Did not even know.
That story hit so hard. I was yeah, brother, I know that. And that scene when he's telling that... Oh, so go ahead, Fran.
I'm sorry. Stevie Wonder did it in Living for the City.
Living for the City. Oh, yeah. Talked about it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Hold it. I got to go across the street. And then what? What? You know, like, what?
Yeah, it's so gullible. Dude, that song is heartbreaking.
It is. Yeah.
Get in the cell, please. And he's like, well, what'd I do? You know?
Mm-hmm. So, and Andre telling that story to that employer, and I thought
that was heartbreaking.
Yes,
that brother was going to cut him a break. He said, I've never told anybody this story before. And I was sitting there like, who's cutting onions? Why am I crying?
Right. But no, it didn't. It still didn't work out.
But that was realistic. And I appreciated that because there was no way he was going to get hired because that's just not the way it works.
And especially not there. I feel like, it might be a little bit different. I don't know,
but I don't know here,
honestly. I wish I had some friends from there. If you're listening and you're across the pond, like, let us know.
Rapman is telling us about a few.
Yeah, I think he's already telling us about it.
I think he's telling us what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's telling us it's the same over here.
It's the same ass thing.
I want to know, like, Fran, did you have a character that stuck out to you?
Well, of course, it was Sabrina.
Oh, okay.
Because what woman, or maybe man, when she goes and she finds out, the boyfriend is an ass, of course, and you just turn around and you go whoosh, and the building almost falls on her.
That was so funny.
Yeah,
you've been in. I've been in situations where I really wanted to do that. Wasn't able to do it. I kicked somebody's door in one time, but I wasn't able to. I didn't have superpowers.
No, just superheat.
Your eyes did not turn yellow first.
No tingling of the eyes, none of that. But I wish, and I know a lot of people out there do, mostly women, wish they could take somebody down like that without actually.
Yes, we do.
Without putting a hand on him, threw him into the building.
She kept saying, "I didn't touch him." Yeah, right.
My favorite part of that scene is Char took the chicken with a.
That was my favorite. I said, "Wait, she taking the food?"
Yep.
He looked in the bag and said, the chicken went onto the car.
Char is a trip.
Man.
Char is that girl.
She is that girl.
She gets on your damn nerves, but you can't leave her alone. You
be calling up, be like, Char, what we doing tonight?
Right?
Know when she gonna get your ass in trouble.
Yep.
You know it. She is the one that's totally gonna get start the fight. She's the one.
Straight up. Mm-hmm.
And she's all about her because I think her sister said, we can't tell anybody whatever happened. And then she said, like, yeah, well, what if he gets out and comes after me? Like, it's like all she was thinking about is what it was going to be for her.
But that's every baby sister. That is a baby sister thing. They got that so right. That is what baby sisters do. Probably baby brothers too, but I know baby sisters, and that's what they do.
Okay, so y'all direct all your mail to Yvette.
Black.
That's right.
But Char was definitely, that was a character that you needed in this story because she was just.
Yeah.
I really want a season 2 because I want to find out what happens with her because I think there's more to it with her.
For sure. Yeah. So do I, because I feel, I'm going to leave it there. I know we said
let's leave it there. Yeah.
I want to leave some mystery because I also really want people to watch this show. I really want people to support it because it's an important show and because we don't get these points of view very often. And, if we support it, then maybe we can get a season 2.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I don't believe that deal, it's not, at least publicly, I have not seen that
I have not seen it publicly yet. A lot of commentary about it, but that's it.
And I think that according to Rapman, that it's planned for 3, like he's written all 3 seasons of 6 episodes each. So there's a complete story out there that we just need to bring to fruition. So,
did you see it got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, the critics all love it. This is a critics' darling right now. They're talking about, this is for Netflix what The Boys was for Amazon. I'm like, oh my.
That's some strong. I think so. I think it's better than
I agree.
The Boys is good.
It's in the top 10 on Netflix.
It's just a personal taste thing for me. The Boys is too graphic for me. I just can't watch that every so. The writing is phenomenal, but but like one of the things that you guys said earlier that is also another reason why I love this show is that it's blackety black.
Hey,
black.
hey.
There's like 3 white people up in this show, and that's it.
And black.
Right? You know? And I love it.
Spud a break.
Like, it's our whole black
Spud.
It's black and Spud.
Spud.
The white boy's name is Spud.
Black and Spud.
No, man, because
And
Spud.
I also like that they have the character who's mixed as well,
Yes.
and thank God for that, for all of us mixed babies out here, that just get totally underrepresented half the time. You're not black enough. You're not this. You're not like we don't know where to put you. What are you?
That was a sad. His story is pretty sad.
His story was
Yes, his
wrenching.
story is and they talk about like in a beautiful vehicle to demonstrate that racism and that colonized mindset. His mother is just the epitome of a colonized mindset. Like she dyed her hair blonde and knows that the new husband doesn't want the son around and but will accept the lighter child. I mean, oof.
Yeah, that was a lot.
That's so painful.
And that was like one scene, and you got all of that. That's how good this is. This is one scene, and we found out so much information, and it was gut wrking information.
Watching him beg his mother.
Oh my God!
Please,
You saw him look at another little mixed
kid.
Yeah, he's and then. I was getting kind of vibes about him and Spud for a second, but then because he said he was so upset because that's why he went there. He said, "I can't be alone. Spud is usually with me."
Right.
And I'm like, "Whoa, what's up with that?" But then I get the feeling that he got some feels for Sabrina.
Who?
Rodney.
So I saw that too, but I don't think it's a romantic feel.
Yeah.
No.
No. I
Not
felt
yet.
it. No, I don't think it's
like
that.
A mother thing?
Older sister
thing.
Auntie, something like that. Because Sabrina's very caring. Like
she's a nurturer.
She's a nurturer. Like that's who she is.
And he needs that.
And so he's looking for that.
Yes.
He's
especially
lost.
from
He's a lost little puppy.
Right.
Yes.
Especially from a woman. And then I don't know if I'm really don't know what's going on with his mother. I don't know if his mother's mixed and she changed her appearance so she could be with the white man. I don't know what's going on with her mother.
That's what was implied.
That's what was implied.
That was implied,
so
because that subtle nod, I see you changed your hair, and her hair was obviously fake.
Yeah.
Right? Like they made a point of, because, lots of sisters will get some dye jobs going, but they made a point for her to, because it was the cut and the style of it too, was whitecized, that was not a sister with a dye job. It's a
whitecized.
Whitecized.
Yes. All right.
That's another one I penned.
Put that in your sci-fi sister book.
He was too dark, but she took the other child. Greg accepted the other child. And I was like, so I didn't catch all that in the first. I wasn't sure. So
that's why you got to watch it again.
Yeah,
I got to watch it again.
That's why this show deserves multiple watchings.
I didn't know what. Yeah, because she said the other child.
Yeah,
I was like, well, is she white? And then she went with a black man, and she had a baby with a white man.
It's a lot in that
not
scene.
That kid. I'm like, oh, what's going on?
There's a lot going on in that scene, and it's only the two of them. It's like one of those ship shows from Star Trek. It's just two people with this dialogue, and you're like. You're getting all this information.
She was like, Greg's coming home.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
She was
right. And
the anxiety from her was giving me anxiety.
Right. I was like, get out of the house,
so
Rodney.
He's a controlling, dominating man. That's another level that they layered into the.
Right.
This cast is amazing.
You don't have to take this anymore.
Right.
This cast is the writing is wonderful, but this cast is amazing, and they are acting their little black asses off.
Yes, they are. And Spud.
And Spud.
And Spud. You said and Spud.
And Spud.
Do it again, man. Run again. Let me see it.
Like the Flash.
Right.
And he was telling Spud.
Run again. He said, okay, wait a minute. Okay, here I go.
He had asked that lady where he was. Edinburgh.
That was crazy. So that threw me because I was like, when he got there, I was like, that does not look like London anymore. So I had just finished watching Doctor Who, right? I was like, why am I thinking he's like in North England? You know,
Yeah.
I hadn't. I'm thinking Wales for some reason. Then they say Edinburgh. I'm like,
What?
In Scotland? Like, what?
She's like, what other Edinburgh do you know?
right? There's no other.
It's like, we had to get a bus ticket to get back. And Spud picked him up.
Sure did.
Yep.
Sure did.
Yep.
Sure
Ran
did.
your ass to Scotland.
You know, and I like that relationship too, because I like how they show relationships between men that are real and platonic and like, you know, that like it doesn't, you know, but that exist. Yet another underrepresented area of underrepresentation, right? For us, we very seldomly see
buddies.
healthy buddy relationships between
Michael
black
and
men.
Gabriel.
Right.
Oh yes.
Beautiful
That scene-
friendship, right?
When he tells him he's going to marry Dion and
Oh,
shows
yes.
him the ring,
God.
he's like a girl.
Yeah.
Woo!
He was like, yeah.
Big Mike, you're going to do it. He was.
You've been together since she was 8, 9 years old, okay?
I love Gabriel. He was so good.
Yes, I
He
love
was
him.
right
Yeah, that
there.
was a good friend.
Gonna
Unlike
listen to him?
John.
Unlike John, the knucklehead.
He is not. John needs to go.
Say John needs to go.
Every John.
Tweedledum. Tweedledum, man.
But Gabe, when his boys told him that he could see that he was into the future, Gabe is just like, okay, let's just go with this. So
Yes.
you're
Right.
in the future.
Right. Because
Listen.
you know what it is? They've been friends forever. He knows that Michael is not that guy.
Right.
You know, he's a down to earth. He's just like that. He wants his life.
He's steady. Yep.
He's steady. He
wants
doesn't want
his
any
paycheck. He
right.
wants
He
to
don't
go
want
home.
nothing
He
to
wants to-
change that. You know, and then when he comes up with this craziness, Gabriel's like, all right, we need to sit down, relax. Let's talk about this and walk me through it.
He's so serious. I mean, I love Gabe. I love Gabe.
Gabe is
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we
Go
talk
ahead.
about? I know we talked about Black Love with the Andre and AJ, but I would love to talk about the Black Love that starts this, and that's between
Yes.
Michael and Dion. I mean,
Yes.
the whole
And
story.
I love her, by the way.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's
Yes,
like just a quick sidebar.
yes.
Quick sidebar. Let's
Go ahead.
talk about
Yes.
Dion.
Please, let's talk. I'm glad.
This
Okay, let's
sister
talk about
deserves it.
Dion.
Yeah, like she's the only one up here that has no powers. But guess what? She is a persevering little. She's like a terrier. She's just
Yes.
digging it out, and she's
Yep.
like, first of all, she stands her ground with Michael. Like, you are not going to disrespect. I know you were going through some shit, but I swear for God, you talk to me like that one more time, boy.
One more time.
One more time. You got one more time. But she wasn't threatening him with like,
No,
I'm going to
no,
leave
no,
you.
no.
It was like,
No,
we going
I'm
to work
just-
this out. We
Hold up, wait a minute.
are
She said,
going
you
to
didn't
work
ask me. She
this.
said, you barked at me, disrespected me, and talked to me like I'm a dog.
Yep.
Right.
It's like,
You know?
okay, I'm clear.
Right. And now also I'm gonna help you solve this problem because this is an
Exactly.
issue.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me not to, like, because we're a unit, we're a team, brother. That's how we do, ride or die. You know?
Ooh.
And yeah. And you
She
know,
was-
and so
she
she
was-
was yeah.
She's the glue. I mean, she is. I think honestly, I think she's the star of this show because it all centers around her.
She's the
You know,
MacGuffin.
right?
Yep.
And then she's the one that has to. She's the one that finds out what this is all about.
Yeah.
You know, she's
Right.
the brains behind
She's
all
the
of this.
brains.
Where it is.
Exactly.
She figures it out.
That's
figures it
right.
out.
And she does investigation. She just like, I'm not gonna leave this alone. We are going to solve this problem.
Right. Yep.
We're
Yep.
gonna
and
figure
I don't
it
want
out.
and I don't want to give away the
I don't want
end.
to. No, I don't
So
want to give away that.
I'm just
part.
going to let you know that she is the reason for all of this.
Mhm.
You know, so you'll figure out in the end what I mean by that. But just know that Dion is not there as just window dressing, you know, because
Right.
she's a
And
beautiful woman
love-
and
she's
she's
gorgeous.
the love interest, but she means so much more to this series.
And here's
I
the
love
thing
it.
that I love about her portrayal too is, again, another characterization that we are not always privy, we're not, what's the word? Blessed to see is that, she's not a shrew. She's not the black woman yelling at somebody. She's not the black woman disrespecting her man or being like, it's one or the other. I can be strong or with that. Yeah. Or like, you did this. No, she's a reasonable, she's an intelligent woman. She's a professional woman. She's extremely smart, and she wants to work as a unit, as a team.
She's just terrified for him. She doesn't know what's going on. And the reason why she's asking and calling and nudging and calling is like she is scared to death. Like, where are you?
She's scared for his life.
For his life, exactly.
Which is ironic because,
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the sidebar about Dion. Yeah.
And what I love about it, and Sabrina and I talked about this, is that this storyline starts because of the love of a woman. And the love of this woman is a black woman.
Yeah.
And my heart just melted.
Yep.
Because I know this is a black cast. We've had a lot of black casts. We've had a lot of black-centered TV movie, but have we ever had a show that said, I love this woman so much that her not being there anymore is something I have to fight for.
Right.
And I mean fight everybody for. I will move heaven and earth to make sure that this does not happen. And you melt. I mean, you had me at superheroes and black folks, but then you put in the love of a black woman and a black man who just his heart cannot take not having her in his universe anymore. And that just, like I said, this show has everything.
Yeah.
People are talking about the superheroes, but it's not about superheroes. It's about black human beings,
black human
love.
beings and black love.
That's what it's about.
Because I think they both felt that way about each other.
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yes. Crazy about them.
Well, you could tell by what we just said. They're both fighting for each other's lives. Everything they're doing because she doesn't know what he knows, and because he's not around, he doesn't know what she knows. And they're all fighting. They're both fighting to make sure they're both safe and that they're not being hurt. That's what they're fighting for. Unfortunately, doing separately, but eventually they figure it out. So, such a good show.
One more person I want to mention in this who gave a great performance was Jasmine's father, played by Robbie Gee, Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Oh my God.
I was
Mr. and Mrs. Johnson.
Both of them. I loved both of them.
Came out fighting.
You talk about love, the love of
Where's
a child,
my Jasmine?
Yep.
the love of a black girl.
Yep. A little black girl that's missing.
Who's
black
missing?
girl
And
that's
do you know
missing.
how much that, you always get these things like, oh God, little white girl's gone missing on some trip with her boyfriend, and it makes nationwide news, right? Everybody else, I get alerts every day for black girls and black women who are missing every day from this little city alone. And you never hear about it on anybody's news. Doesn't even make the local news, much less the national news.
No.
And we go missing every day.
And
there is nobody more underloved in this world than a black woman.
Little black girl.
There is nobody more underloved than we are. We take
In TV.
everybody's in reality. I'm saying
In our reality, as by the cultural norms anywhere in this damn world.
Women are already on the bottom of the damn totem pole, but you put a black woman up there, you ask somebody to choose between a black woman and then an Asian woman, a Latina woman, and a white woman, and the black woman is going to lose every single time.
And black
yet
girl,
we
even
hold
think about
the
her.
damn world on our shoulders. We make this whole world go round. We save everybody's asses all the time.
Listen to black women.
You know, so we have to learn how to love ourselves and be good with ourselves. But this is another reason why I don't care what Rapman can do no harm in my book, because he put us on center stage in this.
And I think that Jasmine, this little black girl that is missing, I love the fact that she was dark skinned.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I just did.
And that was another thing about this. I'm like, okay, these some really melanin and rich people on this show here.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't vanilla them up.
He did not have the,
unlike the black producers in America.
Nobody had a high yellow, damn near white girlfriend.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm sick of it. I mean, I know we exist, but it's like there's a thing.
Yeah.
There's a thing.
It was not in this. It's not in this series.
Yeah.
These people are for real.
This is us.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And we know, we've all seen it. Like, I swear to God, like one more football player or basketball player comes up with a white wife or a damn near white wife. And and the sister that's been with him the whole damn time, the whole way through, like, where's she gone? He ain't making no babies with her. He's not she's not getting the house. It's considered like a level up or something like that. And that's the bullshit that I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, like, as black women, that we're facing every day. The whole society is telling us that we're not attractive, that we're not lovable, that we're not worthy of love.
That we're not smart.
Yeah, that we're not smart. We have to constantly push our position in our existence on the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line in this film, in the series, where the white guy says, they're looking at all the tape and everything, and they're like, how are they finding each other? Someone must be helping them. It's like, no, fool. They figured out a way to find each other.
Right.
Okay? It's as simple as that. Dion got on the thing and just figured it out. Andre is, they're all doing their part to figure this out. And it was, that line just struck me. I think that man is not even playing with this. He is not even playing. It's like, yeah, how'd they do that?
I'm just saying, that's like, no fucking aliens built the pyramids.
Right, you're damn right.
Black people built the pyramids. Period. End of discussion.
How it was built don't mean aliens.
I don't need another damn show on Discovery or whatever talking about some aliens building some damn pyramids. Y'all get out of my face.
So, can we talk about the other star of the show?
Yeah, get us back on track.
Which is Sickle Cell.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know Sabrina wanted to kind of give us...
Yes, because this is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
I have utmost kudos for the man for bringing in this disease. It's definitely one of those things that has gone to the wayside. There was a big push about sickle cell awareness maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you really have not heard about it. I mean, and I just want to give you... Sickle cell anemia, as it is fully called, is something that is prevalent in the black community. And so 1 in 12 people of African descent, and I love this show because the people in this show, they were from all the colonies. We had the Jamaicans were there. We had the Africans were there. I was like, yeah, okay, all the colonies are sitting up in London now.
Nigeria and Ghana.
Everybody was in there. I was like, they had different names, different accents. It was hilarious. But so 1 out of 12 in African descent have the sickle cell gene. To compare that to the rest of the ethnicities, in white people, it's 1 out of every 58,000.
Wow.
But white people can get sickle cell anemia. Asians, 1 out of every 11,500. And now this is a weird one. Hispanics in the western part of the United States, 1 out of every 32,000 have the trait. Hispanics on the East Coast, 1 out of every 2,700.
That makes sense.
2,700. Yeah, it makes sense.
That makes sense because on the West, they're mostly white people that speak Spanish.
Right.
And on the East Coast, they're people from the Caribbean. Afro-Latino.
Afro-Latino. So that's why you have the number drop way down.
Mm-hmm.
So now the disease actually is an evolutionary thing. And it was prevalent in people who come from countries where there was malaria. And the body actually developed a cell to protect them from malaria. Then how it ended up becoming like this horrible disease, I don't know. But that's all I've
mutated.
Encyclopedia under sickle cell.
Mutated. Yeah.
I know a set of twins who actually died.
Oh.
They were in their 30s, where I used to work, and they were a set of fraternal twins, two brothers, and they both had it.
Oh, my God.
They both had it. Because we used to take one to the ER because he would be in crisis. You know, he died first. He was 33, and his brother was 34 when he died.
Oh, my God, the poor parents. Yeah, when you say in crisis, and that actually the blood is being cut off from organs, I mean, that must be some kind of freaking pain.
Yeah. It's pain. Pain.
The mother in this, when Tina went down, and that was something, because they said, I love that Tina is Michael's mother, and when she had the crisis episode, right, no one was coming. None of the nurses were coming. Michael got to the hospital. None of the nurses are coming. And then Dion says, well, what's going on? Because she hasn't had a crisis in years.
Yeah.
And I said, what's going on with this? They did something. They're trying to get her in that center.
I always had suspicions about this center.
Yes.
From the jump.
Yes.
Oh, soon as Victoria walked in.
As soon as Victoria walked in, I was like, uh-oh. The minute she sat on that
tea tinkling.
Right. The minute she sat on Michael's mother's bed and then called her by her first name.
Instead of Ms. or Miss.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was like,
bitch.
Right.
Like, this woman's old enough to be your mother. You better treat her with some respect.
Right. At the minute that
First of all, get the hell up off of her bed.
First of all, why are you sitting on the bed with your street clothes on?
We all saw it. Okay,
I thought about you.
I'm like,
she's sitting in a hospital bed with her street clothes on. That's just germs and bacteria.
Right. No. I was, and then she
look.
Right, and then she called up by her first name. I was like, put some respect on that woman's name.
Right.
But I knew from then, I was like, nope.
No.
I love that they made her, this white blonde lady. So we already all knew.
We already know. We already know.
All our little spidey senses were like, ding, ding, ding.
Yep.
We knew it.
But
tingling.
I do love that Rapman made Supacell the antithesis of sickle cell. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
Right. So for what
Supacell grew out of sickle cell.
Sickle cell. So it's the one person in the family. It's the one person in a family with sickle cell that doesn't have it or the trait. So, like, your parents can have sickle cell, you can have a child that has the trait and then a child that doesn't. And that usually, I think, is what happens. So the child that doesn't have sickle cell or the trait is the one that has Supacell. So they're the one that have the superpowers, And
everybody's eyes were lighting up. Yeah, I was like, oh,
damn. Yeah.
But he also said that he wanted to turn this weakness that affects mainly people of color to a strength and then raise awareness for sickle cell. So that was his purpose.
It was brilliant.
He also, he said that it all started after George Floyd. Like, he knew he had to do something. George Floyd didn't, have anything with Supacell, but he knew he had to do something to make Black people look at something and feel proud about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just love that part, because when I think of those things that happen, I don't think of other people, ever the Black people around the world. Of course, I think about us, how it affects us, because that's all I know. But I think this show, with everything else it's done, it's opened my eyes to the Black diaspora and, the things that we all go through. I mean, I'm watching this going
everywhere.
I'm like, really? Are we doing this red and blue handkerchief over across the pond? Really?
Yep.
Are we doing this? Why you got LA Dodger hat, New York? I was like, really? Are we really doing this? It was like the East-West thing. He put all of that in it, And
the Sixers boys against the Tower boys.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm going to carve a 6 in your head. Yeah. I was like, these guys are just, wow.
I was like, I mean, hopefully they're a little more harder than that, but that's another podcast. I'm like, but it was good entertainment, But
it's true. That's a good point. I mean, that's one of the things that I think I loved about the show too, is it definitely open as American Blacks, we can be really insular, like we're really far removed from a lot of the rest of the world, and especially a lot of the rest of the diaspora. And, what we know is just our own stuff, and it's so important to us that we see our own struggles in the context of the struggles of Black folks all around the world, globally, and what colonization did to all of us, not just the slave trade, but colonization.
Yes,
exactly.
And that's one of the things I love about this too. And I think that's a really good point that you brought up, because it really does open your eyes to other cultures. And then I think that for a lot of us, and especially a lot of Americans, whether you're Black or white or whatever, like a lot of Americans don't get out of their own neighborhoods, don't see much of the rest of the world. They don't even see much of another state a lot of the times. They get sometimes it can get very stuck. And so to have anything that broadens your horizons a little bit.
I think even people who travel, and I've traveled the world, and of course, when I travel, I'm not going to the hood, so I'm not going to see that. I'm going to see, the tourist attractions, or, I'm going to go on an adventure or something, South London is just not where my adventure is.
Right. I'm not going to go to London and be like, take me to the hood.
Well, I'm especially not going to London because the food is terrible.
Oh.
But I might now.
Diss an entire city. That's just such a New Yorker.
She's correct.
I am so correct.
Obviously
haven't been to London.
Not since I was a kid.
The best thing to do when you go to London is either go to an Indian restaurant, because some of the best Indian food is in London.
But if I go back to London, I would go now to South London, because I know there's going to be good food in South London.
Right, and I would go to some of these African joints.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I would go to a Nigerian spot, a Guyanese spot.
Go to Mrs. Johnson's and order something.
You gotta go to Mr. Johnson's place. Jamaican's spot.
To the Caribbean,
right? Something. At least I know now that there is good food in London.
Speaking of being insular, I would say not listening when they did the geography thing. Had a young man, I was working with him, and he had Africa all over his face. He had more melanin in him than I did. And we were talking about Africa, and he said, well, my people are not from Africa. My people are from the Caribbean. And I looked at him, and I'm like, what? He repeated it. I'm like, okay, the only difference between you and your folks, you say from the Caribbean, is a boat drop. But they dropped off the boats. I said, did you listen in school? I say, research it, come back and tell me I'm wrong. He didn't come back and tell me I was wrong. He actually didn't believe he had no roots in Africa.
Wow.
He really believed that, but he and we still worked together for months after that. We did. And he didn't have a clue that it was a boat drop. They took you to, whatever. So
he just had no history knowledge.
That's a stop number one, sir.
He really believed that. He said it to me, and
I believe you.
Yeah,
I totally believe you. I know a lot of people who believe that. I know a lot of people that know that we're African descent, but don't want to be called African. They want to be called Black. They don't want anything to do with the continent for various reasons. Yeah.
Right.
So
it's part of that indoctrination.
I don't think it's that. It's a lot of it is pride also, because they want. I know. I wouldn't say I don't like being called African American. I interchange it, but I would rather be considered Black American, mainly because of my history, my family history. I know it, and I don't ever want that. I know my history back to the Civil War. So there are things that I don't want to get lost. And my family's very proud of our Black American history. So, either way, it works for me. But I never want to lose that, because that's my culture. And so a lot of people from the Caribbean, I believe, also believe that. It could be either way. A lot of people don't
Right.
want to lose that culture that they have.
I think
also.
the thing is, I think the distinction in the conversation comes like, I can know, I mean, you're talking about, Fran, you're talking about somebody who had no clue that they were of African descent, right? Like that's one case. That's a different thing, like, and I have met some of those ignoramuses before too, and it's not their fault that they have been educated and brainwashed into a racist system. And it's a very difficult truth, and especially if you're coming from
indoctrination I was talking about.
Yes, and especially if you're coming from a position, some of these places are way more colonized in thought than we are in this country, and so it's a whole different. I get that, but what I also see what Yvette is talking about. Like, I know a lot of people. Like, I'm not from Africa. My people, my ancestors. Some of my ancestors are from Africa, but I have zero connection to African culture in this country right now. I am through and through a product of America, which is a unique culture in and of its own. Now, I can go to Africa and I can learn something and adopt some cultures and cultural attributes and see what fits, if I want to. But, I'm a product of a Western American culture. My thinking is Western American.
Of it.
Yeah, generations of it. Yeah. So I understand when some people make that distinction. I am not from Africa. I have ancestors from Africa, but and I respect Africa as a continent and individual countries. But I'm an American. And I think so. I see both sides, but I also, there are times in my life where I felt like I'm not an American either, but I mean, but I say that with a little bit of salt, because, you travel any other place in the world and damn well where you come from and you're grateful for the shit. You're just grateful for it. Like, shut your mouth. You're grateful for it. I can say whatever the hell I want to say in this country, and my ass is not strung up the next day. There's a lot of things. Or shot for it, right? Or killed. So, I see all sides of it.
Yeah, it's complicated.
All right, last thing I want to talk about.
Go ahead,
please.
Soundtrack. The soundtrack on this thing, give it to me. You can go to Spotify and get the entire soundtrack, which I did, and download it. Which I did. A lesson in, British hip hop, everything trap. I mean, it's there. I mean, I'm sitting here like, who are all these people? Because I was bouncing to that soundtrack. I loved it.
Yeah, it was dope.
And one of the stars is a hip hop artist, plays Craze.
Gets.
It was confusing to me because y'all know on the closed caption they got the people talking and they got the music, the music, the lyrics to the music going on at the same time, and I'm trying to get it all in. I'm like, okay, what is going on here?
Yeah.
What? But
I was loving it. I would just roll back and get what I missed. I was like, okay, I'm reading lyrics instead of dialogue. Okay. Loved it.
It sounded fantastic, but I had to figure out who was saying what.
That's true, though. It really was. It was definitely something in it.
I can't wait to watch this. I can't wait to give it another watch. I had to do a real quick watch through so that we could record tonight. But like I said, it's only it's only 6 episodes long. Yeah. But
I had to binge 4 of the 6. So
I screamed at the TV. Like, what? Like, why are we ending now? What? Come on with the 6 episode thing. Like, what the hell? What is that even about? Who ever heard of such? And
that's real short. Usually 8 is the shortest I've seen before.
Let me just go on the record saying 6 episodes of some doo-doo.
Is that a Netflix thing, though?
It is a Netflix thing. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I don't like it. I'm not down for it. I feel like you're playing with my emotions.
Can I bring it back to Star Trek?
Sure.
Of course.
Why not?
Okay, 2 times I was feeling Star Trek.
Go ahead.
When they went to A-Town, I had a definite past tense vibe when they went down into that city. And I was like, ooh, this is some past tense feeling going on here. Like a whole nother little city in a city that nobody's caring about or knows about. And you all are stuck in this mess. I was like, what is going on?
I thought about past tense as well. That's a good call
and
out.
then, I don't know about you guys, but for real, I shouldn't even say that. Well, it's not a spoiler because I was wrong. But I swear I thought the people, the other guys, the other superheroes, guys, girls, I thought they were going to be like mirror-like. I thought we were going to see their faces.
Oh, okay.
Because they had the same powers. I was like, well, there's a strong one. That's a strong one. He's got electricity.
I
was like,
that.
Wait, oh my God, they're coming out of the thing. It's the mirror. But I don't know. You all find out.
Yeah, that was,
I think that happened to all of us,
Yeah, okay, it did. Well, I thought, was it this show? Did somebody actually make a verbal Star Trek reference in this show?
I didn't hear one. I heard a lot of Marvel.
Yeah, I didn't hear any Star Trek.
They were into Marvel big time.
All right. I wonder if it was something else that I was watching at the same time.
Now I gotta watch it over again.
I know. Like I watched something in this past week, and I can't remember what it was, and they made a very direct Star Trek reference.
I think we would have got
a couple of direct Star Trek.
Yeah, we would have.
It wasn't this. You know what it was?
What?
It was Doctor Who.
Did they?
Yeah, it was Doctor Who.
Okay. When we finish, I'll talk to you about that. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
but the last one, I had a gem moment when little Jasmine did her thing, and I was like, "Oh, it's like Gem." But TOS,
like what? Which you need to say more.
Oh, I was trying not to give it away, but when Jasmine was pulled in the room, moment. And Jasmine pulled in the room, and Andre was all cut up. And she did a little stuff on Andre. I was like, oh, this is like when Jim fixed McCoy.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wow, another Star Trek moment.
Okay.
What's that whole thing was just so. I was scared.
You talking
about
so the animated? The animated?
No, TOS. Last season was called Gem.
I do not remember that. Oh my
she
God.
couldn't speak.
She was
a complete empath. She was a complete empath.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was one of those ones that had like no set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, McCoy was all screwed up.
That was a deep cut. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I wasn't right there with you on that.
I'm sorry. I've been deep in Star Trek, right, Yvette?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, those were the 3 times that I had a Star Trek when I was watching it.
It always comes back to Trek.
Always.
I Gertie said to me, went on to say it.
Didn't I make a Star Trek reference earlier?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I think I did. It's crazy. All right.
I want Emmys for this. BAFTAs over there in London and Emmys over here in the United States, because this show has got everything: music, writing, acting,
sing.
Oof.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
It's an amazing show. I mean, I'm surprised by how much impact it had on me. And I know that I love something when I'm still thinking about it days later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's still the characters are still running around in my head. The situations are still running around, and that I have a desire to go back and watch it again.
Right.
A lot of times, like once I've seen it, I don't want to go back and watch it again, like at least not for a long time, until I can kind of forget what happened and it's a little bit fresher and newer again. But I'm ready to watch this again, like right away.
Right, tonight.
And the only other thing in my life that is like that is Trek.
Yeah, that's what I think I said this earlier, that I love it because of the stories. We get pulled into Trek because of the relationships and the storyline, and I think this has that. Yeah. It has great relationships and it has great stories to them, and that's why I think we're really really loving this show.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah, we were gonna do that. Yep. Mm-hmm. So anyway, y'all, it's been a great show. I mean, I could honestly talk about it for a long time, but I really want you guys, our listeners, to go out and watch this show, please. And then, let us know what you think, because I would love to have a conversation around this with you guys. Hit us up, on Twitter or on Facebook or any of those places. And Yvette is going to tell you all those places where you can hit us up and let us know. I don't know why I'm going into it.
You can find us at sci-fisistas.com. That's SYFYSISTAS.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the Sci-Fi Sisters Book Club, both on Facebook. On Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, sci-fi.sisters. We're also on the platform formerly known as Twitter at Sci-Fi Sisters. For interviews, the live show on our infamous Top 10 series, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sci-Fi Sisters Inc. Become a patron of Sci-Fi Sisters today at patreon.com/Sci-Fi Sisters. The Trek Geeks Network's presenting sponsor is Fansets. Go to Fansets for pins and memorabilia from all your favorite franchises. Visit fansets.com and use Trek Geeks, all caps, for your exclusive 10% discount. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
And we have some people to thank. As always, we'd love to thank our associate producers, Stephanie Baker, Sailor Marj, and Karen Dramera. Thank you for making things happen for us, baby. We love y'all. And we have to thank the baddest engineer in any and all universes. He's Dose, the anonymous one. Dose, 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 dose. Okay. Anyway, that's his song now. It changed up a little bit. He's responsible for all the music you hear on our show, as well as for our production services. And if you are in need of his services, hit him up on Instagram at dose_the_anonymous_1. That's the number 1. And that's it for us this week, y'all. We love you very much. We deeply appreciate you. And peace, love, and hair grease.